Tonight on KGW News, better check your battery after the same kind of device catches multiple Portland homes on fire. Also tonight, one family's message as they come face to face with the killer.
It's a nightmare that we are still trying to dig ourselves out of.
How their loved ones were murdered in a case of mistaken identity. Plus, new reaction from both sides of the aisle after hundreds of people in Oregon who aren't U.S. citizens ended up registered to vote. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. We begin at 11 with a tough story with a Portland neighborhood in shock after a toddler died in a suspected fentanyl overdose. Let's get right to Catherine Cook in the newsroom. Catherine, we are talking about a 2-year-old girl.
David, this is upsetting to so many people, including the firefighters who tried to save the girl's life. She was in cardiac arrest when they arrived, and tonight police are trying to find the girl's mother.
Heartbroken, sad.
Neighbors grieving over what happened here Thursday afternoon. At around 2:30, firefighters responded to a home near Northeast 6th Avenue and MLK. There, they found a 2-year-old girl in cardiac arrest. Medics rushed her to the hospital, where she died. Investigators believe fentanyl was a factor in the girl's death based on what they found in her home and what they learned from hospital staff. For neighbors like Stacy Hayner Oswald, it's too much.
I want to cry. I want to cry because it should not have happened. It should not have happened.
Police say they've spoken to several adults in the girl's life, but haven't arrested anyone. They want to speak with the girl's mother, but they say she left the home as the incident was unfolding.
How could you walk away from your child as they're dying? I don't understand it. It just hurts.
I mean, we have to do something about this as a community.
Rick Graves with Portland Fire and Rescue says this call was especially tough on crews who tried to save the girl's life. Sadly, it wasn't the first time they dealt with a young victim. Since the start of last year, police have recorded 513 fentanyl overdoses, 14 of those involving children. They say most of the cases ended in deaths. Graves notes that all drugs hit kids harder than adults, but that's especially true with fentanyl.
You know, fentanyl itself is 50 times more powerful than just what we would have considered like black tar heroin a few years ago. It's an extremely powerful drug that depresses the respiratory system and it stops people's breathing.
Police say they're waiting for the medical examiner to learn exactly how the girl died. For Stacy, this much is true.
It shouldn't have happened.
At this time, police aren't releasing the name of the girl's mother or anyone involved. Investigators are looking for more information on this case. If you have something to share, you're asked to call the Portland Police Bureau. David.
Thank you, Catherine. Appreciate your reporting tonight. Developing this evening, elected leaders on both sides of the aisle are calling for answers after Oregon election officials revealed hundreds of non-citizens were mistakenly registered to vote. According to Willamette Week, who first reported this involved about 300 people, though the number could actually increase as the state looks into it. Oregon Secretary of State saying the error, or rather series of mistakes since they unfolded over 3 years, was made by the DMV. Oregon's motor voter law automatically registers people to vote when they request a new driver's license, though that is only supposed to apply to U.S. citizens. In these particular cases, election officials say DMV staff incorrectly indicated that applicants held a U.S. passport or birth certificate as opposed to a foreign passport or birth certificate. The Secretary of State says only 2 of those people actually voted in an election. Well, in a statement, Governor Tina Kotek insisted, quote, this situation will not impact the 2024 election in any way, end quote. She added the DMV is taking action to prevent similar mistakes in the future. In the meantime, several lawmakers are calling for a full-scale investigation that includes several Democrats, as well as State House Republican leader Jeff Helfrich, who said in a statement tonight, Republicans warned over and over that Oregon's election laws were too relaxed, and Democrats dismissed our concerns. Now, hundreds of non-citizens were found in Oregon's voter rolls, and the state can't say how many there are. This threat to election integrity is unacceptable, end quote. We, of course, will keep you updated as we learn more. New tonight, a person has been rescued after getting stuck inside some sort of vault in southeast Portland. Portland Fire and Rescue sharing these photos from the Buckman neighborhood. Crews had to use a saw with a specialized blade to cut the person out of what they say was an underground vault that belongs to the Water Bureau. The Bureau tonight said for security reasons they could not say how that person got inside. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines, today a judge sentenced a man to life in prison after he pleaded guilty to 2 murders that were a case of mistaken identity. Bennett Miller admitted to killing 29-year-old Fortress Oriaki and 25-year-old Isi Okoria. The two were out celebrating a birthday last June in Northeast Portland. At the same time, Miller was out selling drugs. He mistook them for people he had a grudge against and shot both. At sentencing, the families of the victims shared these remarks.
A crime so diabolical. It makes absolutely no sense. It's a nightmare that we are still trying to dig ourselves out of, trying to understand.
Fortress was a brilliant light. He was insanely smart. He worked as a caregiver.
As part of the plea deal, Miller will have the chance of parole after 32 years in prison. A man accused of kidnapping a woman in Salem is now in the hospital after being shot by police. The woman called for help around 4:30 this morning. Officers say they found her and the suspect, Daniel Garcia, in a car near Wallace Marine Park. Authorities say both got out of the vehicle and Garcia was armed with a knife. It is not clear if he moved toward them or threatened the woman, but officers shot him. Investigators say the woman was not hurt and neither were the officers. And investigators say rechargeable lithium-ion batteries are to blame for 2 fires that displaced nearly a dozen people. Early yesterday morning, an electric scooter caught fire at a home in southwest Portland. It caused hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage and left 3 people without a home. And then last night, there was another battery fire at a southeast Portland apartment complex. That one displaced 8 people. In both cases, fire officials say the batteries overheated. Boeing and the union representing some 30,000 workers now on strike met today as the production of planes like the 737 and 777 essentially came to a standstill. About 1,200 of the aerospace machinists at work at Boeing's Gresham facility. In the end, they say they overwhelmingly voted to reject a contract offer and hit the picket lines over pay, secure retirement, paid time off, the cost of health care, and job security.
I'm not as proud as I was 15, 20 years ago. There are people who literally cannot afford a house, and that's unfair.
We just want to provide for our families. Boeing had a chance to do the right thing, and they haven't done it yet, so they better hurry up and make a decision.
A Boeing spokesperson tells KGW they are committed to resetting their relationship with employees and the union and are ready to reach a new agreement. Until then, machinists on the picket line will go without pay and could lose benefits if they're not back at work by the end of the month. Well, straight ahead on KGW News at 11, deciding to do something. How volunteers showed up downtown in Portland today in a very big way. Plus, it wouldn't be Friday without Friday night football, and week 2 means this season is really getting going. Matt?
Yeah, that's right, David. We had a great sunset out of the Oregon coast tonight, too, from our Newport sky cam. You see the clouds moving in, though, and there are some showers showing up on Doppler radar. I'll let you know which part of your weekend you might get wet.